I just wanted to welcome you today to a very special presentation. Every time we get to hear from Danny, it's always very exciting because Danny has an incredible story, personal story of recovery with this product that we have the privilege to work with. You may be here this evening because you've got a health situation, a health concern yourself, that you're interested in exploring the redox frontier as a possible solution to your concern, a possible pathway. Or you may be here because you have somebody in your life that you care and love who's equally in a difficult situation. I know there are some of you here that are in perfectly good health and looking good and feeling strong, but you're here because you want to keep things that way, and you understand that in today's world you have to be proactive with your health. I've also shared with Danny that there are some people on this call who are interested particularly in the commercial opportunities and possibilities as we launch this new technology to the marketplace. So Danny, I'm just going to let you loose and go wild as you take us through what is this incredible frontier that we all are very excited to discover.
Thank you very much. I understand there's people on the call from the west coast of the US, probably in other areas of the US and staying awake at a late time for you guys. France, hello to everybody around the world. My name is Dan Doyle. I'm from Sydney, Australia. When I am here, and you're going to understand why I'm so passionate about what I'm going to go through, because of the personal experience that I've had with this product, this technology, and this company called ASEA. Everybody can relax today. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just a messenger. I'm here to share information with you. Whatever you want to do with that information is totally up to you. You're going to hear a statement now that's a pretty profound statement, and I want you to open up your minds for anybody who hasn't heard about this, because what we're going to talk about is nothing less than the single greatest health science, anti-aging, and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. And some health practitioners, professionals are saying there will never be a bigger breakthrough. So we've got something pretty profound here. Before I go into my story and I'll show you some photos, I just want to talk about the company disclaimer, and I'm going to talk about specifically these products, ASEA and the Renew 28. Now, these products, ASEA and Renew 28, are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. So we just want to make that clear up front. I've got an incredible personal physical story. You're going to hear about that now, but we're not going to make any claims here at all. This is just passing on information, and you're going to understand by these photos, a picture paints 1,000 words, what I went through personally and how I've gone from literally a few years ago, zero health, to where I am today. So I'm going to show you a few photos, and the first one is going back to my sporting days. I used to love playing sports. I played rugby league, I did judo, gymnastics, I did aerobics, I surfed, and I ended up doing this thing called bodybuilding. So this is me back when I was 24 years old. I was getting ready for the New South Wales state titles in 2 different federations. I don't like to talk about the 2 weeks after this photo, even though I looked a lot better. I actually came second in both competitions. But the reason why I'm showing you this photo is because I used to look after myself. I was so passionate about what I did. I achieved highly in sports and anything I really did in life. The next photo is a picture of me not doing bodybuilding, but 20 years later at the age of 44, doing a lot more cardiovascular, not picking up the heavy weights, but really looking after myself. So here I'm thinking at this age, I'm coming into close to 50, mid-40s, and I was just about to tip on the other side of going down to 50. And I'm thinking I want to be the best 50-year adult human being that I can be. And in this photo, I do look pretty fit and healthy, but I can tell you I was in a lot of trouble. 6 months later, the doctors gave me some very bad news. And you can see in this next photo, which was literally 6 months later, that I had no hair from the top of my head to my toes. My second home here in Sydney was a hospital called the Royal North Shore Hospital. It was my second home. I spent a lot of time there. And what they put me through in that hospital, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. This was a very fake smile. And I really, literally didn't physically want to be here with what I was going through. This is a friend of mine, Johnny Manor. He did play the highest level of rugby league here in Australia. He played for the Cronulla Sharks and a team that I love and support called the Parramatta Eels. Johnny had been through what I'd gone through. He had got the good one. I was lumped with the bad one. He'd already been through all those hospital visits. And unfortunately, just after this photo, his came back and we lost him at the age of 23. He was only 21 years old in this photo. At the end of those hospital visits, my specialist literally told me, because I asked for it, I said, you know, what's going to happen? Where's my health going to? And he was straight to the point and he said, get your affairs in order. So we went to the solicitor, we got a paperwork done, we got a little camper van, we started traveling Australia to enjoy what time that I had left. It was a situation where I would have to go back into those hospital visits, and you can only handle so many of those hospital visits. So I made a decision when he told me that to take the responsibility of my own health back into my own hands. And I did some research, and my research led to an alkaline diet. So I went on this pristine alkaline diet. I took red meat out of my diet, chicken, alcohol, everything I could to get my body in an alkaline state, which this thing that was in me apparently could survive in an alkaline state. I did spend a lot of money on nutritional products from a lot of network marketing businesses. I wasn't involved in a network marketing business before. I came from traditional business, but I researched companies like Zengo for their mangosteen juice, Isogenics for their product B, Protandem, Celgevity, Kangen Water. I spent a lot of money on these products for 2 years. And you would think, being on a pristine alkaline diet and spending all this money on all these products to try and help my body and empower it to heal itself, that I would actually look better 2 years later than what I did here. But this was the result. I asked you the question, do I look healthy? So what you're seeing here is a direct reflection of what was happening on the inside of my body still, and it wasn't good. My skin was horrendous. I had red and yellow rings around my eyes. I looked horrendous. I felt horrendous. I had a little bit more hair, but nothing had changed, including the tests that I was getting, the results I was getting every 6 months. This was October 2014. I want you to write down or remember that date, because I got a phone call off a friend of mine named Bart Cotter. And Bart introduced me to a technology. Actually, all he said over the phone was, I think I found something that could help. He knew I was in a lot of trouble with my health. Within a week, I found myself on a plane heading to Salt Lake City, to the headquarters of this company called ASEA. And ASEA is a cellular health company. And we were sitting in the boardroom. I was in the boardroom with Bart, and also with a friend of mine, Mal Sword, who came along with me from Australia, who had skin challenges for 40 years and spent over $100,000 trying to get on top of what he was going through without getting any results. So we were there looking at the technology, this breakthrough for our health. Dr. Gary Samuelson, who's the atomic and medical physicist, was talking about this breakthrough, the science behind these products. Actually, there was only one product at the time, and that's this one we're going to talk about, which is the ASEA Redox supplement. And these bottles were sitting on the table in the boardroom. And all I can recall what I understood of what Dr. Gary Samuelson was saying, because a lot of the science was going over my head, was what was in the bottle sitting on the table was 100% non-toxic, and it could have health benefits. So Mel and I are sitting there and we're gorging this down because it was, it was non-toxic, could have health benefits, and it was free, which was great. So I'd gone through about half a bottle while sitting there. Dr. Samuelson finished his presentation. We went back to the hotel room because we were going to have a shower and freshen up. We're going to meet Dr. Gary Samuelson for dinner and the founders of ASEA, Vertus Norton and Tyler Norton. And I took off my shirt to have a shower, and I'm covered in these little red spots. So what I was trying to achieve here in 2 years on this pristine alkaline diet and taking all these products, what I was trying to achieve here in that 2 years was happening in 3 hours. I was going through a major detox. I was detoxing so fast that the toxins couldn't wait till I went to the bathroom. They were coming out of my skin. So that was my first win on this product. The next morning I got up and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to test this product that I was drinking the day before. And I did have some prior to breakfast that morning. And I went to breakfast and I'm thinking to myself, now, if I have 2 coffees, I'm okay. If I have any more than 2 coffees, I'm buckled over all day with an issue of bloating in my stomach and all sorts of problems because I've had a caffeine intolerance for 20 years. Now, you probably asked, why did I still drink coffee at the time? Well, I was so tired and lethargic after those hospital visits. I actually used to drink more coffee to give myself more issues, to give myself the discomfort that it was giving me to get myself through the day, so I wouldn't fall asleep. It was a horrendous existence. I had 6 coffees the next morning. Now, that was a very difficult thing to do for you guys in America, or you're probably used to coffee, or you may not be, but for us guys coming in from Europe, from Australia, from all around the world, the coffee doesn't taste good at all. I had 6 coffees and I went through the whole day with nothing to remind me of what I endured for 20 years. So that 20-year issue was gone in 12 hours. That was my second win. The third win came the next day. I had so much lung damage from what they put me through in that hospital. I was having trouble breathing and talking at the same time. And you can see now I don't have that problem. The next day, my lungs were functioning at 100%. They were functioning perfectly. So that was my third win in a couple of days. And that was my experience on the product when I first started. You can just imagine how excited I was. It was really that second day, that third win, when my lungs were functioning perfectly, that's when the light bulb went on, that whatever this stuff was pretty amazing. So do you think I went back to Australia after that and I stayed on the product? I kept drinking it? Of course I did. So unfortunately, though, I came from a position where I was very successful in business to losing everything when I lost my health. And when I came back, I could only afford to drink a bottle a week. But halfway through 2015, I increased the amount that I was taking to at least half a bottle a day. And by December 2015, I got some really, really, really good news. My specialist couldn't find any sign of the 2 major issues that were literally going to be the death of me, which was ongoing hospital visits, and the body can only handle so much. But not only that, and I'll show you a photo when I got that news, and it was actually on that day. You'll see the difference. Not only that, I had a lot of injuries from playing sports from all those years ago. I had a severe whiplash injury. I had 80% use of the shoulder, 80% use of the left hand. I had back problems, hip problems, pelvic problems. I used to be lying in bed for time every month on medication to try and reduce the inflammation with my back being out. And all these things literally went away. My whole body was rebuilt, including pollen issues I had with sneezing and runny noses all day in 2015. So I just want to go back from October, this photo in October 2014, to just over 12 months later. Now, this was the health benefits that I received myself, that I achieved through taking this product. If you look at the anti-aging side, you can see my health. I look a lot better in these 2 photos, and they're just over 12 months apart. But in less than 2 years later, you can see that I went from this to this to this. And what you can see now, which hopefully looks younger than what I am here. So this is an incredible breakthrough, the single greatest breakthrough in health. So I've been through that. Anti-aging, you can see what I look like now. And in sports performance, I mean, I'm power walking literally up to 3 hours a day sometimes, and I could go all day like Forrest Gump and not stop because of what this is doing as far as performance, endurance, strength, and the recovery. So that's my personal story as far as what I've experienced physically. I'm just going to come back to you guys, to Celebrity Squares, and get you all up on the screen and stop sharing. We're nearly there. And I ask everybody, if you wish, unless you're naked, to put on your camera so I can see who I'm talking to, your videos. Hey, Katie. So that's my personal story. Now, before we go into this breakthrough, these products, what this can do for anybody, let's talk about how disease starts. And I'm sure most of you know that all disease starts with a damaged cell that is not detected. And if a damaged cell in the body isn't detected, it will divide into 2 damaged cells. And then if those 2 damaged cells isn't detected, it will divide into 4 and 8, 16, 32, and so on. It spreads through your body. It mutates. It will get to the point where 5 to 20 years later, that issue will come to the surface. Now, if it has been brewing, if it has been mutating, if it has been spreading for 5 to 20 years, can you imagine what condition a person's in by the time it comes to the surface? There's people on this call that may know with issues, and there's people on this call that don't know that there's something brewing that could be brewing in their body. Our cells are breaking down all day, every day. We have the mechanism, the natural mechanism for our body to heal itself. Everybody's heard of the immune system, yeah? Pretty important, the immune system. Our whole body is very important. Our whole body working collectively together, like a conductor in an orchestra with, calling the whole body into, hey, here's a problem. We need to sort this out. So let me talk about the mechanism for the body to heal itself now. You're all producing millions and millions of these things per second called redox signaling molecules. I don't want to go too much into the science, but I'll just quickly touch on it. You may or may not have heard of the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the power plant for our cells, and it produces the energy. And as a byproduct of energy production, these mitochondria produce these redox signaling molecules. There's a chemical reaction that pulls the atoms apart of salt and water and reconstructs these atoms within our body into these things called redox signaling molecules. And these molecules, within a split second, have to do their job. Now, what's their job? Their job is to detect cells. The job is to detect cells and then signal the body to come in to either protect them if they're good, to repair them if they need to be repaired because they're damaged, or to destroy them and replace them if they're too far gone. So that's the main function and role of these molecules. Now, the other big thing they do, you guys have heard of antioxidants. You know they're important, but you probably don't understand what they do, but they are important. They're produced in our body. And the thing is with antioxidants, they're useless. They do not work unless they're activated by these redox signaling molecules that we're producing. So these molecules, the two big functions and role is detect, protect, repair, replace cells, and to also activate antioxidants. Now, what else do they do? We have 12 major systems in our body. I just mentioned the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the endocrine system. We've got the skeletal system. We've got our skin. We've got a digestive system. We've got a pancreatic system. All these things need to work in harmony with the body for the body to function and be balanced and work together. The unfortunate thing is a lack of these molecules. These things go out of balance. As we get older, people have sugar problems. These molecules are responsible and key in the regulation of our 12 major systems. We've heard of the plaque that builds up in the arteries that causes heart disease. This plaque does a lot of damage. It blocks our arteries. This is oxidative stress. Oxidative stress comes in so many ways. When the body's actually trying to heal and recover itself, sometimes it does more harm than good. Well, these molecules are responsible for detecting that damage and then signaling the body to where that damage is, and then to break down this oxidative stress and release it from the body as toxins. Bacteria, virus infection, guess what? The body has no idea what these things are unless the body detects them. And what's responsible for detecting these things? Redox signaling molecules. One more thing, genes. We've all heard of genes, genetic pathways. Our body's lighting up and light switches coming on our body for our body to get to the point where it can heal and recover at functional at optimal level. These molecules are responsible for turning on genes. They pass the blood-brain barrier. They go right down to DNA level, gene expression. They affect every single thing in our body. Are you starting to get to know or starting to understand how important these molecules are? Okay, we're going to do a physical. I didn't get too many nods. We're going to do a physical test, and there's a lot of people I can't see on here. Let's do a physical. Let's clap our hands hard 3 times, and I'll let you know what you've just experienced. Everybody clap their hands hard 3 times. Okay, so some of you are pulling faces. You can probably feel a little bit of pain. You can feel some tingling. So I'm going to let you know what you just did to yourself. By clapping your hands hard together, you've just damaged over 1 billion cells.
Nice, Danny.
Yes, that's what you've done. Now, the tingling is these millions and millions of redox signaling molecules that you're producing every second, rushing to that area, signaling. So you've got a cell here signaling the body and the immune system that a mate next door is in trouble through these redox signaling molecule signals and calling the immune system in the body to repair the damaged cells. So that's what you've just experienced physically. Now, the good thing is for children is that they're producing these molecules in abundance. So if you've got children or if you've got grandchildren, you'll know that they're full of energy and they heal and recover very, very fast. Fantastic. And the reason why I don't have children, I've only got the energy to chase myself around. By the time we get to the age 12, 13, I can see Christina with 4 children and 4 big ones smiling away in the background because they're probably causing havoc in the other room. The thing is, by the time we get to 12, 13 years old, because of the environmental impact of what we're eating, breathing, and drinking, unfortunately, our cells are impacted because of those toxins, and production of these molecules decrease. By the time we get to my age at 50, we only have 50% production left. By the time we get to 70, we only have 10% production left. Is anybody willing to admit they're over 70 years old? Anybody at all? Oh, we've had a couple of hands go up. So you guys over 70, you have around about 5 to 10% production left, which means naturally you are healing and recovering 10 to 20 times slower than what you did at the age of 10 years old. That's the bad news. Kids have got the good news. Older people, as we're getting older, that's the bad news. Production declines. We lose 10% production every single year. Now, let me have a sip of water and I'll talk about the good news. Okay, this company, ASEA, after 17 years, when science thought it was impossible, have ended up changing the molecular structure of salt water outside of our body through a 3.5-day electrochemical process where they pull the atoms of salt and water apart and reconstruct those atoms into these stabilized, balanced redox signaling molecules. If you look at this bottle, on the back of this bottle, it just says salt and water. But what this company has done, once the molecular structure has been changed, they have changed this salt water into trillions and trillions and trillions of these redox signaling molecules. So now we can top up, now we can replenish the body of a 70-year-old, somebody who's 70, 80, and 90. We can replenish their body enough to be healing, recovering like a 10-year-old child again. It's pretty damn amazing. Now, this is the only supplement on the planet that is 100% non-toxic. It's bioactive, which means it works. And it's native to the body. You've heard of naturopaths. We might have some naturopaths on here. They deal with anything that's natural. They've got things that come from botanicals, that are plants. Everything we put into our body that is natural, the body needs to work out what to do with it. What is in this bottle is what our bodies produce. And as soon as it goes in, it knows exactly what to do. There's no other supplement out there. There's no other supplement on the planet. So no matter what you're putting into your body, that can come close to what this does for the body, for an animal, or even for a plant. These are the signals and communication. These are the molecules that call the body in to heal and recover itself. Now, that's the liquid. So that's the cellular health product from the inside out. Now, I love this product. They came up with this only a few years ago. So the marquee product, the liquid, has only been around about for 5 years, from about 2009-10 to 2015. This came out in about 2014-15. And this is a topical gel that has these molecules suspended in it. So you can imagine when you're applying these molecules to your skin, it's doing the same thing. No matter what it's coming in contact with, it's calling the body into those cells to deal with those cells. So if there's anything you don't like on the outside of your body, you can apply this to your skin. So anything you don't like physically, wrinkles, cellulite, when it comes to skin sagginess, anything at all, skin issues, any knocks, bumps, anything like that, you can apply this to the outside, including anywhere that hurts on your body. So if you're putting this on 3 times in 5 minutes to anything that hurts, do the 3 and 5 test. After 10 minutes, you'll feel some pretty miraculous results. Now, they're the 2 marquee products. I never put anything on my face, literally. I was always out in the sun. I was a surfer. I was a fisherman. I never wore a hat. I never wore sunglasses. And you can see by the photos, and this is the only claim I'm going to make, guys. Prior to using this product 3.5 years ago, I used to be quite ugly. So I just want to let you know it can sort out all kinds of problems, okay? Okay, so now, the great thing is, and I've extended my skincare range, which I never thought I'd do, but yes, the company has come out with 3 other little tiny products. One is a cleanser. This gets the skin ready for the molecules. And I do all sorts of things with it, actually. I use it because it foams up, and I use it for shaving. And I even wash my hair with it now, Christina, which is just amazing. So you're not putting chemicals in your hair or using any other rubbish. And then we've got the Renew 28, which I put on after that on my face. You've got the Intensive Serum. This actually has the molecules in it as well. A lot more concentrated than the Renew 28 and more expensive, obviously, for the fine lines and anything you want to get rid of you don't like. And then obviously a moisturizer for putting the moisture back in the skin. That supports the molecules as well. Recently, the company's come out with, because I mean, we've always been about cellular health from a cell signaling point of view. And the company's thought to themselves recently, well, we've got this incredible breakthrough. Nothing can touch it or come close. They've got 37 overlapping patents for the next 20 years on the process of how to make these molecules. But people need to actually feed their cells. They need the building blocks of the cells, and we eat food. We take nutrition, we on the super juices, we top up with antioxidants and replenish our bodies with all sorts of things. These are the building blocks for the cells. But this is the labor that makes all that work. So what they decided to do, they surveyed all us guys out here in the field, and what they came back with is 91% of people that are involved in taking the ASEA redox signaling molecules are on a multivitamin and mineral. Now, excuse me, what they didn't want to do was just have another multivitamin and mineral. So what they've come up with is a whole food micronutrient complex food source, and this is got phytonutrients, all your multivitamins and minerals, micronutrients, superfoods, everything in one capsule. So in the last 4 or 5 weeks, this has been released, and now we can feed our cells the building blocks for what they need. And these redox signaling molecules grabs what it needs from here and actually signals where this has got to go and what cell it needs to go to make sure that cell is getting the right nutrients. And that's how they work hand in hand. So if you look at a couple of analogies, you've got, you're building a house, you've got a block of land, and on your block of land, you've got your material. Nothing's going to happen with that material until the labor comes along, and they work hand in hand. The laborers, construction workers build the house. That's the exact same thing for our body. Every single person on the planet obviously needs to eat and have that nutrition for their cells. But if they're lacking in these molecules, there's not much that's going to happen. These molecules not only make everything work more effectively and efficiently, but they also cut to the chase as well with any issues in the body, signaling the body to come in and deal with it. So yes, we have an incredible breakthrough. That's all about the product. There's a lot of people on this call, and I know it's getting late in some places where you guys are. So I just want to say to anybody right now, if there's any questions on the product side, we'd like to open up when it comes to that. Before we do, though, I just want to probably cut down a lot of questions. A lot of people say, you know, okay, well, what about this condition? What about that issue? I've got this problem. If anybody asks about a specific condition, I'm just going to keep harping on asking you the same question back. Is there a cell involved? So if anybody wants to know about anything specific, please keep that to yourself, because if there's a cell involved, which there is with everything, there's a chance that this will help. So, Christine, if I can just throw it back to you at the moment at this part, and anybody who wants to get access to the product or ask any questions, if you actually want to open up an account and give this a real good go for 3 months, if you're serious about, you know, taking your health in the right direction, you need to get on a product plan for at least 3 months. The statistics show that 15% of people will feel or see something within 15 days, 30% within 30 days, 60% within 60 days, and 90% within 90 days. We want everybody to commit to taking the product for 3 months to give their bodies the best chance. And when I say that, even if you can't feel or see something, which I'm sure you will after three months, within 1/1,000,000th of a second of drinking this stuff, it's in there, it knows what to do, and it's working. Okay, it's signaling cells. and signaling the body to come in and deal with those cells. So Christina, if I can throw back to you to get some questions out of the way on the product side, and then anybody who wants access to the product, if they can go back to the person who introduced them to this call, they can open up and set up an account for you and get access.
Yeah, not a problem, Danny. Thank you. That's a really good overview of the product. I'm going to shortly put a list of resources on the chat so that if you do want access some of the product brochures, some of the product videos, you want to go in depth a little bit more than this overview allows, you'll have those resources there. But as Danny said, the only way to access these molecules in the world is through this company, and you will need an account to get those shipped to your house. If has anybody got any questions, please jot them down or unmute yourself. I just wanted to quickly ask you, Danny, because obviously you've got an incredible story of how you've recovered, and you did touch on why somebody would take them if they're healthy. You did touch on that, I've spoken recently to a lot of people who are already taking vitamins and juices and some really good nutritional supplements, been looking after their health, and the question has been, well, I'm already pretty healthy. Why would I add one more thing? Why would I add this to my cocktail of supplements that I already take? So maybe you could just cover that whilst we have any other questions.
Yeah, I understand what this is. I mean, I just say to them, without this, what you're taking isn't working, or isn't working as effectively and efficiently. This is the thing that tells nutrition where to go, what cells need, what they're putting into the body, and for what, people talk about, I'm going to go in a different direction here, but stem cells and production of stem cells and how important they are, and stem cell therapy. The thing is, stem cells do not know where to go, what to do, or what to turn into unless they're told. So these molecules are working in the body not only to expel what's not supposed to be in there, but also it finds what's supposed to be there: tendon, bone, ligament, organ. And it's the nutrition and everything we're putting in, and it's the production. I mean, all our body working in harmony and together. But without these critical signaling molecules, there's not much that's going to happen, or happen effectively or efficiently. With actually replenishing the body with these molecules, there's been studies that show that glutathione production, the master antioxidant, increases natural production from actually replenishing our body with these molecules by over 500%. So any antioxidants, anything that you're taking, anything you're getting from your food, the efficiency and effectiveness of what you're putting in is magnified over 500%. So you, like me, for all the nutrition, soup, juices, antioxidants in the body that you want to. But unfortunately, like me, over the 2 years, I didn't get the results because I was lacking in these redox signaling molecules.
Great answer. Danny, would you touch just very quickly, perhaps, you must have explained it so well because nobody is asking any questions, so I'll throw in one more and then maybe we can move on to the next part. Would you mind touching on the genetic study? Because people sometimes ask, have there been any studies, any research done? And we have had some really exciting findings. Would you mind touching on maybe one of those?
Sure. So in the States, on the American bottle, they've got a study, what has come out of a study, and it's a genetic study from a third-party laboratory in America. And what they did, they tested 5 genetic pathways. We do not have it on the bottle here because of our regulatory bodies here in Australia, but I can assure you that what we have in this bottle is the same product as what's in the bottle in America. So put 2 and 2 together. So what they came up with, they did a study on around about 50 healthy 35-year-olds, and about half of those were on the saline solution that makes the ASEA, and the other half were on the ASEA, the product. And over an 8-week period, it showed that their healing capacity through these genetic pathways opening went up 20 to 31% over that 8-week period. Now, these are people that were healthy. Now, they may not have experienced or felt something on the product, but if they didn't, the genetic study showed their healing capacity literally went up 20 to 31% through these genetic pathways. Now, they came off the product. They did their blood works 8 weeks later, and guess what? The study showed, or the blood work showed, that their genetic pathways went back to functioning like they did pre-study. And obviously the people on the saline solution had 0 results. They didn't get 1% increase. Obviously, even in a placebo situation, with these genetic pathways opening and the body lighting up. So the light switches went on through the whole body. People talk about hormonal imbalance, the cardiovascular system. It was these things, digestive system, these genetic pathways were tested, and the results were incredible.
Thanks, Danny. And I think that's a really important point to make, which we heard Dr. Gary Samuelson make the other day on the call, that 100% of people in that study showed improvements, which, if you know anything about research or science, 100% is a number you never see. So it was very exciting to see that 100% of people exhibited between 20 and 31% improvements on those genetic expressions. So as Dr. Samuelson said the other day on the call, everybody who gets on this product is going to have it's going to have an effect on them, and the reason is because it is a molecule that our body already uses, so there's no guesswork for the body.
So Kevin's asking a question just as far as how much you should be taking. I mean, I won't go through protocols and what we recommend for different things, Kevin, but I can say, I mean, I'm drinking half a bottle a day at the moment, 16 ounces. My wife does the same. We want to be healing and recovering at optimal level. I'm running around like a 10-year-old child because, I mean, I couldn't be healing and recovering faster than what I am from a redox signaling molecules point of view. But, you know, obviously, you know, it's not food or nutrition. It's not feeding our cells. So if you're looking after your diet on that side of things, it will be enhanced as well. And then, you know, there's people with certain issues that can only take a very, very small amount. And there's other people that, you know, can be taking a whole bottle a day, depending on what they're going through, and everybody else is in between. So basically, at the end of the day, the more you take, the more you can get into your body without having to go over a bottle a day. The more you get in, the quicker things are going to happen. I'm Michelle from Singapore. Okay, do you have a reference for peer review on ASEA and not ASEA sponsored? Okay, so, you know, there's pubmed.gov when we talk about redox signaling. So I'll just take it away from the product at the moment. So if you guys want to have a look at the science, have a look at all the peer review articles on redox signaling from all the scientists all over the world in one place, which is a official government website. It's called PubMed. It's short for public medical, pubmed.gov. Put in the words redox signaling and put any word you want with the words redox signaling after it. Antioxidants, you can put in any words you want, and, you know, it will show all those peer review articles. Now, there's no peer review articles on the product. We have studies. If you want to go to ASEAglobal.com or ASEA Science, go to the ASEA Science section of ASEA Global. Christine will start putting up different websites in the chat box so you can get those. There's the genetic studies in there. There's the studies on oxidative stress where, you know, there were so many overweight women, same thing, 3-month placebo-controlled double-blind studies on these women, half on the product, half on saline solution, where their oxidative stress down to LDL level came down dramatically in a very short period of time. So we do have all these studies by third parties, a lot of them, which you can get access to. Just to let you guys know where we're moving to after we talk about the product is, as Christina said at the beginning, around the commercial opportunity. So if there's any more questions on the product side, and even if you want to stay on for this next part, you're more than welcome. And even if you've got questions on the product that you've forgotten about now or you want to ask later on, more than welcome to do that as well.
Thanks, Danny. As Danny said, I've just put some resources on there. You'll probably find a lot of your answers, but do go back to the person who's brought you along if you have more specific product questions.